Lights out, and we're racing in MotoGP here in Austria. It's a sensational start from third place. He's nailed it this time around for Pecco Bagnaia. He's immediately ahead of Alex Marquez, trying to find a way through on Marco Bezzecchi, who slams the door shut on the brakes into the first corner. Bezzecchi then has made the perfect launch away from pole position. Alex already back in fourth place. Marc up into P3.
Yeah, this time it's Alex Marquez really with a nightmare start. Not a particularly slow one, but of course with the penalty to serve, he needed to move forwards. Instead, he's gone backwards.
Up the hill we go then into turn 3, slowest corner on the circuit, turn first gear now. Marquez attacking immediately on the inside of Bagnaia, left foot off the foot peg from 63 as he came under big pressure from 93. They now go side by side, elbow to elbow on the run down, 6 gear run down to turn 4.
Bagnaia's not going to be having that. Marc came from a long way back. It was a clean move, but it was a late one. Bagnaia back through on the way into turn 4. This is helping Bezzecchi pull out a little bit of an early advantage. Fermin Aldeguer didn't have as bad a start as yesterday, but he has also lost ground as Acosta comes through on Alex Marquez. This is a nightmare first lap for Alex Marquez. Of course, the long lap penalty not served yet.
Marc was back in that factory Ducati in hard into the chicane. He's now going to attack Bagnaia once again up the hill into the first gear, turn 3. This time around it's a successful mission. He ran wide a little bit after having attacked Bagnaia there on the previous lap, but now Marc immediately up into the second.
Yeah, that was a clean move. He managed to park it on the apex of Pecco Bagnaia, so Bagnaia couldn't do what he did the lap before and just duck back underneath the 93. And Marc Marquez now has that move done. Bezzecchi only able to get half a second's worth of breathing space over the Ducatis, which will now surely start to close down. And it feels at the moment, unfortunately, from Pecco Bagnaia's point of view, that once again he's fighting a rearguard action with Alex Marquez and Pedro Acosta right behind him. Marc Marquez has scampered off up the road to the tune of nearly half a second, and he's already closed in on Bezzecchi on this lap. This is going to be a fast lap from the 93, the fastest of the Grand Prix so far, on a 1:29.6.
Yeah, and Alex thought about showing his front wheel to Pecco on the run up the hill. He goes into the long lap penalty loop. Now then, Alex Marquez into the long lap penalty loop in fourth place. He's going to drop back in front of reigning world champion Martin. There's a bit of debris on the circuit further back, so back out on circuit. Alex Marquez in 11th place.
Yeah, I think that will be a couple of lower than that because Martin and Morbidelli passed him on the way out, so I think it'll be 13th now. Alex Marquez as Martin having recovered off the track. Here comes Alex Marquez, looks straight back through on Morbidelli and Martin. Surely there's not enough room for 4 of them into turn 3, and it's Martin that gets mugged. 3 go past him.
Yeah, he got real bashed up there, did Martin. Alex Marquez, Morbidelli and Gian Antonio all sailed on through. He's under pressure now as well from Australian Jack Miller, who gets through. You just wonder whether Martin might be a little bit gun-shy here, having missed so much of the World Championship with severe injuries. He's not sort of used to, is he, being in these heated battles. He gives instant payback to Miller on the Pramac Yamaha, although Miller now darts back to the inside, dropping down through 6.
Now look at the battle for third place, and Acosta wants to get on with this up ahead of Pecco Bagnaia. There's not going to be an awful lot of room there into turn 9. Surely Acosta's best shot is into turn 1.
And once again, this is following a familiar story in 2025. Bagnaia's aggressive in the first couple of laps, but once he starts getting picked up, he just has nothing. Acosta just has to be patient here to work his way through. Bezzecchi's at least trying to make a contest of this Grand Prix. Fair play to Bez. He's just fired in another fastest lap of this Grand Prix, a 1:29.533, which is 600. Not much in it at all between himself and Marc in second. That gap's nearly 3/4 of a second.
Ralph Fernandez just going to stuff it up the inside. He is of Brad Binder. He just had to get on with that. Couldn't wait any longer. And Fermin Aldeguer is the big winner out of that one.
You speak to any rider in MotoGP and ask them who one of the hardest riders to pass is on the brakes, and they'll tell you it is Binder. So he had to be a little bit forceful there. Some will say maybe a little bit too aggressive, as Binder also now gets nerfed out at the first corner. So 2 costly corners as far as the number 33 is concerned, because he has gone from 5th back down into 9th in the space of, about a kilometre. Yeah, Martin goes in hot there now into the first corner, an indication of just how much Quartararo is suffering. Marco Bezzecchi at the front of this Grand Prix has just done a 1:29.8. Fabio Quartararo down 18th place has just set his best lap of the Grand Prix, his best lap, and it's still about a second off the pace of Bez right now. No power, no grip, and no hope, no chance for the Yamahas here in Austria. Marc is really now starting to hunt down Bezzecchi. He's smelling blood here at the Red Bull Ring, isn't he, the 93? Marc, so
someone's
somebody
down.
has gone down. It could be Marc just cooking that front tyre a little bit too much. Yellow flags are out in sector 3.
It's not the top two. You can see Bezzecchi, Marc Marquez. It's
Oh, it's
Jorge
Martin.
Martin, the reigning
dear.
world champion, out of 15th place.
Let's hope that Jorge Martin is going to be quickly back on his feet, because previously when he's been thrown down the road on that factory Aprilia, well, it's roughed him up and left him badly injured. Let's have a look. We're on board with Martin. Let's have a listen.
Turn 7.
Yeah, he just picked up the throttle, and going through 7. Some multiple rolls, you fear, through the gravel trap. Oh dear. Bagnaia now has got some serious bother. Big bother. Gets his right leg clipped in the braking zone there, doesn't he, almost? Bagnaia. The big bother came not just from Acosta, but also from Aldeguer. Jorge Martin's going to the medical centre for what we hope is just a precautionary checkup.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're supposed to lob your rear tyre at another rider in the race, which is essentially what Pedro Acosta did there. It was effective. It got him through into 3rd place, and it cost Bagnaia 4th. Aldeguer now through, but Marc Marquez has well and truly got his claws in to Marco Bezzecchi now. Is this where the inevitable begins to become reality?
It's coming. It is coming. This is going to be inevitable. Will he decide to attack up the hill into the first gear, turn 1, down to 55 kilometres an hour? Oh, he darts to the inside line there. I think Bezzecchi just charging that little bit hot. He's compromised his exit speed on the factory Aprilia. They go side by side, but for the first time then here in this Grand Prix of Austria, Marc Marquez decides it's his moment. He hits the front. Marco Bezzecchi tries to respond, going through 4 and 5. Bezzecchi gets that rear squirming underneath him on the RSGP. He is going toe to toe with Marc. Just listen to the noise of the crowd. This is brilliant by Bez. What a move that was, going through turn 6.
Well, that tells you that Marco Bezzecchi fancies this. Marc Marquez knows that it might not be quite as easy as it was in Brno. Bezzecchi on the Aprilia wants to keep Marc Marquez's victory drought of the Red Bull Ring going for another year.
He's going to pick up some slipstream here down the 810-metre start-finish straight. He goes side by side with the factory Aprilia. He levels Bezzecchi in the braking zone. Bezzecchi really does try to tough it out on the outside, but Marc has got through. They run down to the chicane into 2A we go. 2B coming up shortly. The left-hander, the squirt of acceleration now up the hill. Marc back in the ascendancy.
That might be the decisive move. Bezzecchi was unable to launch a counter-attack into the chicane, and now Marc Marquez can just pick his own lines. He's not got an Aprilia launching up the inside of him, and Marc Marquez might finally have been able to break the resistance of the brilliant Marco Bezzecchi today.
Aldeguer is streaking away, isn't he, from Acosta.
And streaking after Bezzecchi as well at the
Acosta
moment.
for dead.
Yeah, this was the move then, in the middle of the chicane. Well, Pedro Acosta can't complain with that one, given the move he put on Pecco Bagnaia. So Fermin Aldeguer is up into 3rd place. At the start of this lap, Aldeguer was 2.3 seconds off the lead and behind Marco Bezzecchi. As we now go across the line, it's down to 1.8 to Marquez, 1.3 to Bez. Aldeguer a second quicker than the Aprilia last time around. Bezzecchi's going to have to change his focus here from the rider ahead to the rider behind.
Rookie? What rookie? This is brilliant by the number 54. Closing in once again on the brakes into Bezzecchi. Surely now he's going to be close enough. He gets the throttle cracked wide open. Can he somehow find a way through up the hill into turn 3? Yeah, he's going for it. He's having a look on the inside of Bezzecchi. He's made that move. Runs Bez out to the paintwork. The classic block pass there from Aldeguer. We've got 4.5 laps remaining then here now in this Austrian Grand Prix. And Aldeguer on the charge. Bagnaia, what must be going through his mind at the moment? He has just been out-muscled, out-fought in so many of these battles in this Grand Prix. This is a shadow of the Pecco Bagnaia we've seen at the Red Bull Ring over the last 3 years. Last lap then underway here, and Marc Marquez has it in his hands. He's almost a second clear then of the brilliant Aldeguer. Marc Marquez has been supreme once again. He's about to be, for the very first time, the king of the Red Bull Ring. He's had so many close calls, so many late battles against the factory Ducati, against Andrea Dovizioso and Jorge Lorenzo, but he hits them 4-6. It is 6 successive victories then now in 2025 for Marc Marquez. It is 6 successive double wins.
Marquez victorious then in Austria for the very first time ahead of Fermin Aldeguer and Marco Bezzecchi. 2 KTMs inside the top 5 in the form of Acosta and Bastianini. A best finish since 2023 for Joan Mir ahead of Brad Binder. Then it's Bagnaia, Fernandez and Marquez all inside the top 10.